Hi friends, today I am here with a short trick with the help of which you will be able to find HCF of any two numbers, three numbers or even four numbers orally in just few seconds. So without wasting any time, let's start with the trick. First, let's find the HCF of two numbers with the help of this trick. And later on, we will also find the HCF of larger numbers. Here we have two numbers 15 and 18 and we have to find their HCF. So let's see that what will be the steps of doing so. So the step number 1 is that you have to find the difference between both the numbers. So here you can see that the difference between 18 and 15 is 3. So difference between 18 and 15 is 3. Now in step number 2, you have to check that whether this difference which we have got, whether it is perfectly divisible by both of our numbers. So we know that 3 multiplied by 5 is 15 and 3 multiplied by 6 is 18. This means that 3 is perfectly divisible by 15 as well as 18. So if our difference is perfectly divisible by both the numbers, then this means that 3 is our HCF. So HCF of 15 and 18 is 3. So what I did in step number 1, I checked the difference between both the numbers. Then I checked that whether this difference is divisible by both the numbers. If it is divisible, then that is our answer. Now let's see another scenario. This time we have two numbers 21 and 35 and we have to find their HCF. So step number 1, find the difference. So difference between 35 and 21 is 14. Now you have to check that whether this 14 is perfectly divisible by 21 and 35 or not. So we know that 14 is not perfectly divisible by 21 and also it is not divisible by 35. This means that 14 cannot be an HCF. So for this what we will do? We will find the factors of 14. So if the number is not divisible by our original numbers, then we will find factors of the difference. So factors of 14 are 1, 2, 7 and 14. Now what you have to do is that you have to start from the largest factor and check that whether they are divisible by these numbers or not. So 14 we have already checked, it is not divisible by these numbers, so I have put a cross on it. Now take the next biggest factor and that is 7. So check that whether 7 is divisible by 21 and 35 or not. So 7 3s are 21 and 7 5s are 35. This means that 7 is perfectly divisible by 21 as well as by 35. So if the answer is perfectly divisible by both the numbers, this means that 7 is our HCF. So HCF of 21 and 35 is 7. So in this way, we are clear with both the scenarios, whether our difference is perfectly divisible by both the numbers and whether the difference is not divisible by both the numbers. So in this case number 2, we will take factors of our difference. Now our next set of numbers is 35, 45 and 50 and we have to find their HCF. So here you can see that there are three numbers. So how we will find their HCF? The steps will remain the same, but just there will be a small change. So step 1 is to find the difference. But this time as there are three numbers, so we will have three differences. The difference between the first and third number, that is 50 and 35, is 15. Difference between first and second number, that is 35 and 45, is 10. And difference between 45 and 50 is 5. So whenever there are three numbers or more than three numbers, then you have to check that what is the least difference. So you can see that the least difference is 5. So this means that least difference is 5. So we will take 5. Now check that whether this 5 is divisible by all these numbers or not. So we know that 5 is divisible by 35 as well as 45 as well as 50. So as it divisible by all the numbers, so that's why 5 is our HCF. Now let's take another set of numbers. This time we have 29, 32 and 39. Now let's check that whether what is the smallest difference. So difference between 29 and 32 is 3, between 32 and 39 is 7, and between 29 and 39 is 10. So what is the least difference? That is 3. So least difference is 3. Now check whether this 3 is perfectly divisible by these numbers or not. So 3 is divisible by 39, but it is not divisible by 32, and it is also not divisible by 29. This means that we cannot take 3 as the HCF because it needs to be divisible by all the numbers. Only then we can take it as HCF. So what we will do? We will find the factors of 3. So as 3 is a prime number, this means that its factors will be just 1 and 3. Now 3 is not divisible by these numbers. So we are left with just 1. This means that HCF of these 3 numbers will be 1. So in such case, when we are not getting any other factor, then we will take 1 as the HCF. Also, there is a shortcut method to remember this. Whenever you see a prime number in the numbers of which we have to find the HCF, then you can directly write 1 as the HCF, because the prime numbers will not have any other factor rather than 1 and that prime number itself. So that's why whenever there is a prime number, then directly you can write 1 as the HCF. So 29 is a prime number, that's why we can directly write that 1 is the HCF. But if you want to solve this, then this is the method. So similarly, we can also use this trick to find the HCF of larger numbers. Here I have 4 numbers and you can see that they are 3-digit numbers. But don't panic, we will find the HCF of these large numbers also by using the same trick. So step 1 is to see the least difference. So difference between 150 and 210 is 60. And between 210 and 300 is 90. Between 300 and 360 is 60. And between 150 and 360 is quite large. So you know that by inspection we can tell that 60 is the least difference. So least difference is 60. Now what we have to do is that we have to check that whether this 60 is perfectly divisible by all these numbers or not. So 60, we know that 60 is not divisible by 150. Also it is not divisible by 210, and so this means that we cannot take 60 as the HCF. What we will do, we will find the factors of 60. So on factorizing 60, we will get the factors as 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 10, 20, 30 and 60. 60 is not divisible, so I will put a cross on this. Now take the next biggest factor, and that is 30. So check whether 30 is divisible by these numbers or not. So on inspection I can tell that 30 is divisible by all these 4 numbers, because 30 into 5 is 150, 30 into 7 is 210, 30 into 10 is 300 and 30 into 12 is 360. So 30 is our HCF because it is divisible by all the numbers. So by using this trick, we can easily find the HCF of any numbers. So soon I will be back with another trick in which I will tell you to find LCM of any number. I hope you enjoyed this trick. Thank you.